Hey guys, ZaneHyde here from the Nexus Schoolhouse, bringing you an in-house game played on the NA server a couple of days ago. In-houses are high-level games for professional and semi-pro players to kind of get together and get something a little bit more organized than an SL game. So it's basically just a fancy practice game. You might recognize some of these players if you've been watching CCL or if you watched HGC back in the day, but basically we're all fairly competent. Now, the enemy composition is going to be Sylvanas, Medivh, Samuro, ETC, and Uther, and my composition is going to be Cassia, Zeratul, Varian, Brightwing, and Falstad. So the main thing we're going to look for this game as a Varian is I want to control vision on the enemy side of the map. I want to know where they are. And I want to try to find kills with my taunt, or I want to trade for Medivh's cooldowns with my taunt whenever possible. Now, at the beginning of the game, you're just a melee minion, so you don't do too much on Varian. You kind of walk in between, you know, get the ward or whatever, and then you go to throw a Q at the wave, and then you leave. I'm not going to do too much in the early game versus the enemy team, because, again, until you pick up level 4, Varian is a very squishy hero. I barely have more HP than my Cassia, and my Cassia is probably tankier than me with that 30 armor. I go over into this bottom bush to try to watch and see what's rotating down. So I see right now the Medivh is heading down. And actually, my Cassia gets slid. Okay, I go up to try to help her. I slow the ETC so he can't get the body block. Great, and then I walk away. Epic player probably should have based here instead of tapping, but it doesn't matter too much because the enemy team isn't going to be able to attack him for another minute. I go over here, throw a Q, and my Zeratul and Falstad are rotating back into mid. So one thing you're going to notice this game is Zeratul and Falstad actually tape themselves to each other for a fair portion of this game. Kira and Lutano kind of do what's known as a illegal measure here. There's no way they should be getting away with this, but they're going to be able to rotate together pretty much all game, which is pretty good for them because both of these heroes are weak in the early game, but very powerful when you tape them together. Cassia is going to go start the siege camp, and I'm going to try to control vision in this part of the map to ensure the enemy team can't invade. I know they're not invading, but I go attack the Medivh just in case to make him waste his portal, and now I know for a fact there's no way they invade. Sylvanas and Uther have been missing for quite a bit of time, so they're either over here on the siege or over here on the bruiser camp. So I wander over and I'm saying, hey, what's going on in this bruiser camp? And over here, the enemy team goes, oh no, a Varian. So now the enemy team has to be thinking, are they invading? Are they invading? And they don't see Falstad and Zeratul yet, so they have to be a little bit cautious. I do a little bit of a loop, I come back, I look at them, but they know that we're not invading because they see these two top, and at this point in time, we're done. We get out, we don't want to die here, we just want to look at them, just scare them, know what they're doing, and let my team know. Here's where I make a pretty big mistake. I tell my Cassia to back up because I was worried about the enemy team rotating in, and what ends up happening in a few moments from now is I actually drop vision on this bush, and because of that, ETC actually comes all the way around, and in that tiny frame of time where I wasn't watching, he actually manages to find a slide onto us, which is really unfortunate. Thankfully, the Sylvanas was pretty far away, so they're not able to kill my Cassia. They're not able to get enough damage onto her to finish her off. Uther comes out of the bush, and he's going to find a follow-up stun and attack the Cassia, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go hug the Sylvanas so that I can eat her Q, and I'm going to taunt her to prevent her from auto-attacking my Cassia. ETC makes a bit of a mistake in the body block, and he actually lets the Cassia pass right there, so she is able to survive. And here we're able to actually attack the Sylvanas back. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to Q her to slow her, and then I'm going to walk away from her to try to bait her into sticking around while my Falstad rotates in to deal some damage. So here I'm going to backstep while I wait for my E to come back up, and me backstepping there causes the Sylvanas to stand in place. Now I've got my slow up, I'm going to charge her, and Sylvanas is going to throw Falstad is going to throw his Q, his W, and a couple autos and actually finish her off. This is really good because this talent right here is the only ability on the entire enemy team that actually clears waves. Because of this, this camp is going to get humongous value over the course of this game. You're actually going to see it take this entire wall while my team is pushing in the mid as 3. So I end up telling Cascon to teleport mid to heal Epic player while I go to catch bottom wave and potentially interrupt this objective. And this entire time my team is pushing, and getting structures. This is a really good result for us, and now what we're going to do is we're going to split with 2 heroes. We're going to send Falstad and Zeratul to soak the 2 side waves, which are top and mid. And I and the Cassia and the Brightwing are going to try to stall this objective for as long as we can so that they can get some juicy EXP. The enemy team is doing a really good job staying even with us in EXP right now. They should be behind, but they're not, which is a testament to them playing very, very well with a very difficult composition to clear waves with. I see the portal there, I sidestep it. It doesn't really matter if they attack me because Sylvanas is showing in the mid and I know they don't have any damage. Right here, I'm looking for a tap because I want to get more mana because I used quite a bit of my bar, but I don't have one for another 30 or so seconds. Now, the enemy team is going to start rotating down. Epic player is going to fake cast in order to get this Medivh to drop, and I actually take advantage of Medivh dropping here to taunt him. The reason this is a good thing is because he's going to use his portal and his W defensively instead of using them to protect his team. Now, when the rest of his team comes in to attack, he's not a hero because he doesn't have cooldowns. So the ETC is going to slide through me and try to get to Epic player. He's going to miss just barely. He's going to tap the Brightwing, but they're not able to find damage efficiently on a single target. Great. We're alive. We haven't died, and the enemy team has wasted a bunch of buttons. Now, Cascon is going to teleport on me to give me some HP and a shield. Great. Both of us are going to queue to try to interrupt this. And this entire time, Falstad is getting tons and tons of value in the mid. He's knocking over these structures, and Zeratul has backed to regain his resources and then go soak this EXP and start pushing. So basically, we're getting side lane value. You can see the difference in the EXP bars, right? These guys are 7.5. We're almost 8. And that little bit of EXP advantage is just going to get bigger and bigger as this game goes. Cassia is going to find a lot of damage here. We see a portal right there, and that's where I know, hey, the enemy team is attacking. So I start turning around, but I don't see the ETC. Where's the ETC? Well, he's obviously in this bush, but he hasn't attacked yet, which means I'm going to take advantage of this little gap to go on this Medivh. And I actually do it fast enough that he isn't able to self-cast his shield and protect himself. So he's going to take a huge chunk of damage and actually almost die. Uther's going to cast both his Q and his W at the same time, stacking his armor. And we're actually able to take advantage of this to attack the enemy team despite having one less player here and find kills. This basically ends the game right there. If you ever get in a situation where you are 4v3, you find kills, and get an objective, you pretty much just won the game. And you can see the enemy team is now a full half a level behind us, which is going to give us a huge advantage to 10. I accidentally killed myself there. I didn't have enough mana for my Q that would have healed me. My bad. But Epic player is able to find 2 kills out of it, which I get to claim as assists because everything I do is intentional and in no way a mistake. Falstad and Zeratul are going to have a little bit of grandmother bickering over whether or not they should take this camp. It was very funny to be there. You should definitely watch Lutano's stream from time to time to listen to him and Cure bitch at each other, because it's fucking hilarious. Medivh's going to head top to catch some soak. I'm going to respawn, and basically we're just controlling the waves. Now you can see that EXP advantage has gone from being a half level to a full level. So we have 10 when they don't. Because of this next objective that comes up over here, they're not going to be able to do anything about it. They're literally going to have to give this to us completely for free just because they don't have heroics and we do. And we're still developing a bigger and bigger EXP advantage because we're soaking all the side lanes while the enemy team is kind of clustered over here and clustered over here, missing their top wave. Kira is actually able to find a kill on Medivh 1v1. Great, that resets his stacks again, so there's no way he's completing this quest. Really good. And for the most part, my team is able to just come in an arc and take this objective. Pretty straightforward so far. There's nothing too much here that you wouldn't be able to do yourself as long as you understand what you want to be doing on Varian, and that is walking around, looking at the enemy team, and getting opportunistic taunts that trade for cooldowns. That's not a very long list of things to do. The only thing that's difficult is doing all of it at the same time without your brain melting. And people can have a hard time. A lot of players I coach, bronze, silver, and gold, they have the ability to do these things individually. They just can't do it all at the same time. And the thing that they have to apply effort to do is relatively easy for me to do because I have a lot of practice of doing all of these things at the same time. HOTS isn't a hard game. It is about doing 100 small things simultaneously that all build up into very, very big packages, like that EXP advantage or like that trade I made with Medivh to get his cooldowns. Those little things add up, and eventually they become huge swings, like kills or being up a level. And that's kind of how you want to learn this game. That's how you want to improve at Heroes of the Storm. You just want to take it as organically as possible and try to optimize and improve your actions second to second. Now we see the enemy team is rotating into our bruiser camp here. That's fine. They can take it. We have control of the bottom of the map, control of the top of the map, and we're getting pushed in the mid. We're a full level and a half up. We're about to be another talent tier up, and we're basically holding every advantage. Now, the enemy team blind portals onto Cascon right here. They actually found that completely blind with no vision. That was a fantastic play by Unaverted on the Medivh. And Cascon isn't able to react quickly enough to teleport to me and get out of danger. So they're going to be able to win this tribute. That's okay because we're still pushing in every lane. Look at the structures on our side, right? We've got a full gate. We've got a full gate. We've got a full gate, and then look at the structures on the enemy side. Missing a full gate, and the fort is taking damage, and then this fort is already chunked to half, right? So this is basically the style known as RAT, run at the towers. And it's pretty simple, it's pretty straightforward. All you have to do is have a little bit of coordination between your 5 players. Obviously, you're not going to find this in a random SL game, but you can find this in a coordinated game, like you can play at NGS or Heroes Lounge. Basically, it doesn't matter what rank you are, bronze to Grandmaster, you can find yourself a team, and you can play competitive HOTS with them. I'll leave the links down in the description for anybody who's interested. I definitely recommend you check those out if you want to play better games. Cure gets got on here, and they actually dive as 4 players under towers and then use a mosh pit and a D shield to keep themselves alive. This is really unfortunate, but at the end of the day, the enemy team just traded a 120-second cooldown, a 90-second cooldown, and all 3 of their short ults for 1 kill, which isn't going to net them too much of an advantage because Falstad just took the entire bottom fort and pushed it all the way to this keep wall, while we managed to survive with our other 2 members. Great. Basically, they all converged for 1 kill. That gave them about half a level in EXP, while we're going up to 2 full levels. So at this point in time, the game is basically won as long as we can keep our foot on the gas pedal and not int. As you can see, there's only a few minutes left in this game, so it's pretty obvious that we're going to win, and we're just going to fast forward to the finish line. This fight right here is pretty simple. The Medivh was top a moment ago, so I tell my team, let's go on the ETC. Cascon lets me know that he can save me, so I decide to play very aggressive right here and taunt this ETC and stay pretty much in range of the entire enemy team, which is about to attack me out of this bush. I throw my W out to try to block a few auto attacks. I get hit by Sylvanas, Cascon saves my life, and then Cure comes in on the flank and starts attacking this Medivh. This is a huge clusterfuck of a fight at this point, but the only thing you really need to note is that they don't have cooldowns, we do, and we're about to press all our buttons. As you can imagine, this goes quite poorly for the enemy team and quite well for us. We're able to find that first kill on the Medivh, find a gust into a kill on a Sylvanas, and from this point on, it's pretty much impossible for the enemy team to win the game without us making major mistakes. As long as we don't screw up too hard, we should be fine. We're going to cap this tribute. Cure is going to play Zeratul versus the enemy team and sort of have some fun. This is whatever. We're getting EXP. We're up 16 versus the enemy team's 13. We're going to clear out our waves. Yada yada yada, have a little bit of a skirmish, and then we're going to run over to this camp, take this boss, and then we're going to push with it all the way to the core. I hope you guys found this game educational. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any advice for what kind of content you'd like to see in the future, or how you'd like this format to be explored, I am all ears. Please leave that down in the comment section below. But otherwise, take care, have a good one, and we'll see you in the Nexus.